Okay, so again, thanks to Chris. We've been really busy as we're launching these new features. Chris is traveling all around Europe with multiple clients, but this one in particularly that we mentioned, multiple sites, all manufacturing. And in the meantime, as this feature has just been enhanced, for those of you that are already users, we've always had the Hoshin Kanri X Matrix. However, we've always been wanting to create this now multi-tier process, and now we're finally using it. So anyway, to make a long story short, I'm going to give you a little bit of a simulation now in a simulation company. So it's going to be a little bit rough around the edges, but bear with me and let's see how it goes. The demo, I'm going to focus on 3 steps on how to get your company up and running to get value from Hoshin Kanri and then get people in your company actually executing on Hoshin Kanri. So starting with step number 1, which most of you who've been to these our demos before or use our product know very well. The first thing you want to do when you're setting up the system in Presto is capture your operating model. This is a non-negotiable. If you don't put your company's org chart on your dashboard, at least at the functional level, at least at the team level, you don't have to put every person in the company, but every team or every function that the company carries forward needs to be well defined on the dashboard. So then you can start mapping activities, strategic initiatives, KPIs, and that's where that bowler chart really adds value. So for those of you that are new to the software, a quick overview. There's Samuel Dupont, and this is going to be the simulation I'm going to show you today. There he is. He's looking down on his organization as general manager. He has 6 direct reports or 6 departments, 6 divisions. And from there, he can see his span of control, how many layers are in the company. So he knows that in the manufacturing division, there's 4 other teams that Mike DeMaio, production lead, is responsible for. Taking it one step further, all the people in his company are also well listed. So your goal as a Presto user is to capture your operating model, teams, functions, people, roles, and then depending on all the other things you may want to do, in addition to project management, change management, strategy management, there's also the opportunity to improve processes. So we're not going to get into it today, but of course, mapping processes at the team level allows you to give this good digital landscape 360-degree visibility to your company that they can just point and click and inform themselves without having to disturb business operations. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to jump to our dashboard now. So there we are. Here we are, Dupont Toys. So today we're going to be looking at Samuel's team. You can see it's got 146 people in the company. Clicking on the org chart icon, we've just invested this year and last year in a new org chart reporting features, and we got more coming out very shortly. So you can actually report your org chart in a multi-page report. So if you just want to quickly export a document that has team by team, person by person, role by role, you can do that. But here today we're going to be talking about Samuel. Let's just take a look at some of the teams we're looking at. So we're going to be looking at operations a bit. Mike DeMaio, you can see he's head of business operations for 4 teams underneath him. We're going to be looking at Clotilde's team. If I click on Clotilde, you can see she's head of sales and marketing, chief revenue officer is her role. And you can see we'll be focusing today on the marketing team under Karine, and the sales team under Fred. So Presto allowing you to capture your operating model and then jump to whatever division or team you're interested in. So if I want to go take a look at Clotilde's team, I'm going to go click on that shortcut button there. And here we are on her dashboard with her people, her processes. And where we're going to finish today's demo is on the Plan, Do, Check, Act dashboard. So you can see here, these are the open projects she has in PDCA format. But before we get there, we're going to start talking about strategy. We're going to want to be able to identify strategic initiatives and filter out and report those initiatives based on the sub projects at the 2nd to 3rd and 4th tier of the company. So step number 2, align strategic objectives to span of control. So again, this is the first time I'm actually presenting this technical presentation, aside from the work I've been doing supporting Chris. So bear with me, but let's see if we can get through this together. So again, we have a Hoshin Kanri X Matrix. Chris did a good job of explaining it, so I'm not going to spend too much time there. Always good to remind ourselves what the X Matrix is telling us. And now that we're going to be talking about cascading, we'll be speaking about Samuel, who needs to cascade his vision to the additional tiers in the company so that they can execute on his vision. So basically what we're going to do today, we're going to take a look at his X matrix, then we're going to take a look at his direct reports X matrix, then we're going to go one level even further. So you can see tier one, we're talking about strategic leadership, whereas tier two, we're talking about functional owners. And then when you really start cascading it, there's Samuel cascading down to Clotilde, Chief Revenue Officer, Head of Sales and Marketing, and she's cascading her objectives first to level 3, which is the head of digital marketing, Karine, and Karine may decide to even assign an X matrix to level 4, Daniela, website management team. From a sales point of view, she's going to cascade her Hoshin matrix to level 3 of Fred, head of sales. Fred may decide to cascade an X matrix down to level 4, Michelle, a sales associate. So the goal is you're creating X matrices assigned usually to people or to roles or functions or teams, depending on how the company's set up. So one thing that is important to do before you just start going out there, and this I can see this in big companies and small companies, it's identifying how many layers are in this company when it comes to a strategic point of view, because at the end of the day, you're always going to start at the top. And if the senior management team doesn't understand what your strategic roadmap is, it's not going to go very far, because it's not going to be able to be, you're not going to be able to have an effective catchball process. So so for Dupont, you're going to see we set up 4 tiers: strategic leadership, functional ownerships, tactical execution, and operational support. But I also want to throw this out there as you're thinking about setting up your company, it's probably wise to try to consider what makes your company different than the example you're going to see today. So obviously, if you're a multinational organization, your senior management team may say this company should have 5 tiers, maybe even 6 or 7. I've seen in examples that I've been coming through in the last couple of months. So that would be like a larger company. A mid-sized business is similar to what you're going to see today. And if you're a lean startup of maybe 50 people or just a small business, you may go with 4 tiers, but the way you're going to approach them are going to be from founders at the top, team leads, product and development leads, and then the interns and contributors. So put yourself in those shoes, and you can start to see how the conversation is going to go as you create an X matrix at one level and then cascade it down to the next. So Presto, here's our X matrix workbench, which for those of you that are just accustomed to the traditional X matrix, doesn't look anything like that. So what I'll do, I'm going to go in and show you how this works a bit now. But as you saw from our adverts, our X matrix doesn't allow you to hurt. It helps you ensure that you're not hurting your neck, so you're not rotating it around too much and turning your head, just so you can try to read things that are both vertically listed and horizontally. So our X matrix there's your southern wing at the bottom, here's your western wing, here's your northern wing with your strategic initiatives. And then as you start measuring things from a KPI point of view, we have an intermediate step that allows you to pass everything through the balanced scorecard, and then get more granular at a team and even personal KPI level. So keeping this in mind, let's jump back down to Samuel's company. So here we are. To access the Hoshin Kanri X Matrix, it's in your widget menu. Here it is. So you can see I'm logged in right now as Samuel. So I'm going to get everything I see here is visible to me because I'm the CEO of the company. Now, keep in mind, if you logged in as somebody who's in a different tier, depending on how you configure their permissions, will depend on what they see on these panels you're about to see. So as I mentioned, here's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4: strategic leadership, functional ownership, tactical execution, operational support. And immediately you can see how many X matrices are in the tier. So you can see the tier 1 is effectively, it's Samuel pretty much communicating with his board of directors, with the shareholders. And you can see SD, Samuel Dupont. Whereas in tier 2, he has his top line management team. And these were those direct reports. Mike DeMaio, Clotilde, I forget the rest of the names. Sorry with that. And then tier 3, you got the direct reports who are reporting to the senior management team. So clicking on tier 1, you can see we've created one Hoshin X Matrix at tier 1. If I click on that, you see immediately we have the people in the Hoshin X Matrix who have been assigned accountability. So here's where leaders start approaching the question to delegate, to coach, or to get hands-on. Now, in this case here, Samuel, he owns the X Matrix, but everybody you see here has an accountable strategic initiative. So he's basically taking his team and he's deciding if he's going to make them responsible, where Samuel assumes the accountability, or if he actually says, no, I can, these people, I know their capabilities, the trust is there, I'm going to start cascading this down. So what you're looking at here, if we go to the complete Hoshin matrix for Samuel, we come in here, you can see this is his matrix. Those are his 3 strategic initiatives. These are his annual objectives. Sorry, I meant to say strategic objectives in the southern one. Here are annual initiatives. So those people that you saw on that first panel, they're coming from here. So you can see strategic initiative number 1, invest in 3D prototype realization innovation. That's belongs to Mario Piccioni as an accountable party. You can come in, you can see him there in the RACI matrix as accountable. Mario is actually going to be cascading responsibility to other people, but here you have the strategic initiative set up. Lean manufacturing pilot programs going to Mike DeMaio from manufacturing, and so forth. Just to give you a little overview on how the X matrix works. So basically what you're doing is you select wing by wing. So I'm selecting the breakthrough objective number 1. That's what B1 means. Increase EU market share by 20% through innovation and new product lines. And now here, where you do the X matrix mapping, you click the edit button and you're actually linking them here. And we took it one step further under the guidance of a team of engineers from the School of Architecture and Engineering of Freiburg in Switzerland. And we're putting an impact rating on here. So eventually you can actually score how important or how much impact the objectives and the initiatives have in relationship to each other. So you can see I've linked breakthrough objective B1 with annual objective, launch 2 educational toy lines for age 3 to 6 by Q4. I've made that a high impact, whereas annual objective number 3, digitize 50% of the order to delivery process, has a median impact. And as you save that, you take that to the next level, and then you go through your annual objectives and you do the link again. So I'm going to say this objective here, launch 2 educational toy lines for ages 3 through 6 to Q4, is linked to annual initiatives 1, 3, 4, and 5. And if I click the edit button there, you can see here's where I've set up the linkage. So all of this now is giving you the possibility to get your traditional Hoshin matrix. You can see there's Samuel's strategic initiatives, strategic objectives, breakthrough objectives. There's his strategic initiatives. And you can see the linkages using the shapes low, medium, or high. Now I'm going to stop there regarding the rotation, just so you can see how the cascade starts to work. If I go back to that, Samuel wants to sit down with Mario to talk about what you just saw. Mario's specific contribution to Samuel's Hoshin matrix is here. So you're going to click here, and you can see here we are looking at what Mario has been assigned. So you can see these are his strategic objectives. These are the annual objectives. And these are all linked to the 2 initiatives where he is the accountable party. If you take a look at his Hoshin X matrix, you can see there he is. And you can see all of these things have linkages to Samuel's bigger picture. So this allows you now to start taking a look at the levels at your peers, as well as the levels directly underneath you, and figuring out how they're going to support you. Now, if we go to level 2, now you can see we have 5 X matrices, and these are all Samuel's direct reports. And you can see in the matrices, what you want to do is, if I were to, I'll show you how you add one. Basically you're assigning it to a department director. So I could put Mario in here, even though he's already there. And then you're selecting a team, or another way to say it is a role that the X matrix is assigned to, and then you name it. So you can see the way we've decided to name this. And once again, very important when you're working with as a consultant in a company is not only selecting the tiers, but also the naming convention. So we're talking about functional ownership. So what you see here is you got the production director, sales and marketing director, production development and engineering, corporate services, and quality and compliance. These are the 5 different tier 2 Hoshin matrices. So if I want to take a look at how, let's take a look at Clotilde, sales and marketing director. I'm going to click on her, and you can see there she is. This is Clotilde's X matrix, where she has 2 people from her team accepting accountability. If I go take a look at Clotilde, you can see here that she is Chief Revenue Officer. She has these 3 strategic objectives. She has these 5 annual objectives, and these are her 5 annual initiatives or strategic initiatives. And you can see she's outsourced them to her direct reports. So if you take a look at Clotilde's X matrix, there it is. If you want to go, if she wants to sit down with the head of marketing, Karine Deschamps, she's going to sit down with her and she's going to filter out those initiatives based on how Karine is supporting her program. So could go one step further and talk about level 3, but I think what would be more important now is for you to see how that all links to your portfolio of business initiatives that your team is carrying out, so that you either at the top of the company looking down, or someone in the middle working hands-on with the people that are carrying out their activities, have better visibility into where they're going to need your support, taking their activities through the PDCA cycle. So now I'm going to go to the last section. Here's a picture of the bowler chart we've shown this in a previous session, and I think you can see a recording, but we'll definitely be doing more of these this year, because we're about to enhance the bowler chart to have special reporting to support the Hoshin Kanri X matrix. But this is an example of how you can link your Hoshin matrix to the key initiatives or KPIs that you're supporting, and that bowler chart comes directly from this KPI widget over here. So final step before we open up for questions: start using Presto Project Management. So Presto, as a project management solution, offers a bunch of different opportunities to connect with the people in your company and have them participate. And one of the key items that makes Presto very unique is that people can feed into your projects without having to know how to use Presto. They don't have to have licenses. They just need to be you just need to have their email in the system, so you can start asking for updates, and you can give them a nice portal to just feed via surveys their observations, their feedback, or any concerns they may have about how they're supposed to be delivering, and you can track all that. So you can actually say, yeah, this month I've reached out to you 5 times. You see it in the system, and I see you've only responded twice. We need you to respond a little bit more so we can be more execution, sense of urgency focused. So keeping that in mind, one thing that one of the new features we just launched in the last few months, and we keep enhancing it over the last few weeks, is the new task reporting module directly from our dashboard. So here we are on the PDCA dashboard. I'm going to go to the top of the company. So let's imagine we're Samuel Dupont. He's looking at things, and so here's our reporting menu. Now, if I wanted to see all these projects in PDCA view, I'm just going to click on PDCA. And if Samuel wants to see all of Mario's PDCA projects, which you can see there's 3 of them, 2 in the do phase, 1 in the act phase, he clicks on that, he opens it up, and immediately he has 1 project being acknowledged or approved, 2 projects being done. If he clicks on the project, he goes in and he gets to see the task list. He gets to see who's responsible for that. He gets to see their due dates, and he can even see the Gantt chart or work in the Gantt chart view if he really wants to. So this is a very good way to keep the activity very much under your control. Again, I like to promote Presto as a solution that helps leaders grow other leaders. How do leaders grow other leaders? Well, they let them take the training wheels off and go off on their own, and stay behind them, developing that trust, saying, "I'll delegate to you. We trust you to go forward." But with the Presto enhanced governance opportunities, you have the possibility to know when coaching may be necessary, and in some cases when micromanaging may be necessary. And that's what this dashboard, that's what the reporting allows you to do. Now, what I was just talking about, task management, this is our newest feature where you can just get a task report directly from the dashboard. So if I want to know, tell me about all the tasks in those 3 projects that you just saw, this time we'll open it up again, and you can see project number 1, there's the tasks, project number 2, and project number 3. And what's nice is, if you let me do a richer one. If I open up this one here, you can see these are the projects. Show me all projects that are red. Show me all projects that are yellow. Show me all projects that are green. And you can even utilize the Hoshin Matrix. So if I were to come here and say, let's take a look at all these projects in the operations under Mike, I'm going to say, show me every project where Mike, and I'm going to type in Mike's name here. There's Mike, has a task that's responsible. So now you can see I put that R. Every task you see here, MDM, Mike DeMaio, these are all his responsibilities. Show me where Mike may be a consulted party. And now you can, and if I were to open up any one of these projects, there's you can see Mike. If I were to zoom into the task, you would see he has consulting responsibilities. So that's a little bit about that. But what I wanted to show you what I mentioned earlier, you could, if at this point in time, what you wanted to do is you wanted to get a status update from people, you can easily just send them what we call this 2-way survey feedback panel, which we call Task Connect, which will be an email somebody's going to receive, and all they have to do is click on it, or either on their phone or on their laptop, and they're going to access this survey panel that allows them to give you a status update, allows them to put comments, and allows them to actually request assistance if they need it. And this is both available from a desktop, a laptop, or from your mobile phone. And again, anybody can connect to this. We send this to our service providers, to our clients. They don't have to be Presto users. And this is what differentiates Presto as a PMO, as a project management solution, from a typical project management solution, where we like to implement Presto first at the mid-level and at the high level of the companies, and then say, invite your team leaders, invite the process owners as you feel fit. But what we don't want to do is just go into a team and tell everybody in the team, you have to start using this new software, start doing this, because that obviously brings on different types of obstacles. So let's imagine that I wanted to get a status update from all of Clotild's activities. I'm just going to click this button here. You can see these are all the different tasks. And what I'll do is I'll say, okay, let's push a report. And what you're doing now is you're going to let Presto send an email to a group, 1 or more people. So you can see these are all the people that are in those projects. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to send it to myself. So I gave Samuel's email address, my email, so you can see me. I'll receive it. So I'm going to send it to Samuel. I'm going to send a note. Hi, hey, please give update. So now what's going to happen is I will now send and click that button. And now what you'll see here is there it is in my inbox, just came in, comes immediately. I get an email and it's saying Samuel has pushed this to you. Now I've logged in as Samuel. Now he's saying, hey, please give update. And what you have here is every project, its status, the due date, and if there's any documents linked, you're going to get them here. So you can see here there's a document linked, file directory restructuring initiative for the sales team. If I click on it, as long as you have access, you're opening up the document. Now here is where you're giving people the possibility now to talk back to you. So I could look at this and I could say, project number 5090, reduce printing during weekly management reporting production, yellow, due date 31 July, click on this button here. You don't have to be a Presto user. You click on that and you're going straight to the Task Connect panel, whether it's on a laptop or on your mobile phone. It's responsive friendly. And here you have each of the tasks. So I might come to task 4, confirmation with task owners that tasks are concluded. And I'm going to say, not sure. Please send me a cost report prior to my response. So what we're doing here now, you can see this is project number 5090. I'm putting a comment and I just click this button and I've just sent feedback. So now anybody using this panel on 5090, you can see I've got an alert message. So immediately I know somebody's given me something's happened, and I'm seeing a project note's been added. And if I go find project 5090, I'm going to use this filter at the top. There it is. I open it up and you can see if I click on it, I got some notes in my notepad, and there is a note by Samuel Dupont, task not sure, confirmation. And you can see there's the note I just put. So what that allows you to do, that allows you to easily start engaging people that are in your RACI matrices, your matrices for tasks, explaining to them that, yeah, going forward, we'll be asking for updates. Please do that. And the best part about it is that you can track all of those things very easily. So in your team meetings, if I go to my contacts panel, I'm just going to go, you're going to see here, there's my license report. And you can see here, these are the people in the company that are receiving emails. And if I go click on the email report, you can see there's Samuel Dupont, number of responses made in the last 30 days. And you can see that's a number 2 because I just made a response. So anyway, let me just see if there's anything else that I really wanted to tell you. No. One last thing, since we got a few more minutes. So basically, taking you back, closing everything with the Hoshin Kanri cascade. Let's imagine you're Samuel, and now you want to start looking at the activities on your dashboard. Here's your strategy. So I come here and I can say, okay, I'm interested in seeing all the projects that are linked to Mario's team, for example. So here's my strategic plan. You can say I got 17 projects that are linked to my X matrix. And you can see Mario has 12 of them. If I click that, there they are. And of course, I can just open that up in list view. And these are all the projects that are linked to this annual goal. If I go one step further, you can actually see the strategic initiatives. There's his 3D printer. 12 projects are supporting 3D printing. There they are in SQPDC. And what I'll do, I'll show them I'll open up the initiative view so you can actually report. If I was reporting on this specific initiative, the 3D printing, this is the report I would send saying these are the activities that are forcing it.